Money is spiritual energy, not just currency. It is the visible shadow of an invisible power, the material form of a divine current that flows through the universe. What you see as paper, coins, or digits in a bank account is simply a symbol, a representation of an unseen force that moves according to the vibration of your inner world. To treat money as nothing more than material currency is to miss its deeper truth. It is not lifeless. It is alive. It responds. It listens. It follows the thoughts you entertain, the words you declare, the beliefs you hold, and the actions you take. When you recognize money as spiritual energy, you stop fearing it, resenting it, or chasing it. Instead, you begin to align with it. Just as a magnet draws iron filings, your consciousness draws money in the measure of your faith, gratitude, and clarity of intention. If you see money as scarce, it shrinks away. If you bless it and honor it as energy designed to serve, it multiplies in your hands. This is why two people can stand side by side in the same economy, one struggling endlessly, the other prospering abundantly. The difference is not outside them, it is within them. Money is spiritual because it moves where there is trust, generosity, and openness. It resists fear, greed, and bitterness. The one who gives with joy finds money returning in multiplied measure, for circulation is the law of energy. The one who clings tightly in dread finds money slipping through their fingers, for stagnation kills the current. See money for what it truly is, a divine servant, a faithful messenger, a mirror of your inner state. It is not something to worship, nor something to despise. It is a tool of freedom, a channel for good, and a current of energy flowing ceaselessly from the invisible into the visible. Treat it with reverence, direct it with faith, and it will obey. For money, in truth, is spiritual energy, alive, responsive, and waiting for your command. The law of mental equivalence is one of the most powerful and yet most overlooked truths about money and life itself. It declares that whatever image you hold in your mind, whether of wealth or lack, must eventually take form in your outer world. Life cannot give you what you deny yourself inwardly, nor can it withhold what you consistently affirm and see within. Your bank account, your opportunities, your conditions are all mirrors, faithfully reflecting the pictures you carry in your imagination. If your mind is filled with thoughts of scarcity, fear, and constant struggle, you will find that your life echoes those pictures. Bills may multiply, opportunities may seem scarce, and even money in your hands will slip away, because the mental equivalent you hold is one of insufficiency. But the moment you dare to form a different image, an image of supply, of freedom, of money flowing with ease, you change the blueprint, and reality has no choice but to reshape itself to match. This law does not ask whether you are aware of it or not. It is always working. Every repeated thought builds a mold, every mental picture creates a pattern, and soon your outer world grows into the form you have held inwardly. That is why you must be deliberate in what you allow your mind to dwell upon. The casual daydream, the fearful imagining, the repeated story of never enough are not harmless. They are the very seeds of tomorrow's conditions. But the good news is this: the moment you take control of your inner images, you begin to take control of your outer experiences. See yourself paying bills with ease. See yourself walking in financial freedom. See money flowing toward you in expected and unexpected ways. Hold that picture not as a fantasy, but as a present reality already yours in the unseen. When you do this with faith and persistence, the law of mental equivalence will work in your favor, shaping circumstances, attracting opportunities, and opening channels for money to appear. Money responds not to the outer noise of desperation, but to the inner picture of abundance. Align your vision with what you desire, and the law will bring it into form. Whatever you can see clearly within, you will one day hold in your hand. That is the promise of the law of mental equivalence. The law of the spoken word is one of the greatest secrets to creating wealth, success, and freedom. Words are not empty sounds floating into the air. They are living forces, carrying within them the power of creation. Every word you speak is a seed, and the universe is the fertile soil that never refuses to grow what is planted. If you sow words of lack, you reap poverty. If you sow words of abundance, you reap prosperity. Life does not argue with your declarations. It simply brings into form what you consistently speak. Think of how often people curse their own finances without even realizing it. They say, "I can't afford this. Money never stays with me. Life is so hard." And those words, charged with belief and emotion, set unseen forces into motion, ensuring that their experience will echo their speech. The spoken word is a decree, a command. Every time you repeat these phrases, you reinforce the pattern of lack and limitation in your life. But when you learn to guard your tongue and speak words of life, everything changes. The simple declaration, "Money flows to me freely, easily, and abundantly," carries creative power. When you say, "I am always provided for," you set in motion channels of supply that you may not yet see. The law of the spoken word does not require you to understand how it will happen, only that you release the word in faith. Once spoken, it begins to shape reality in ways beyond your comprehension. The spoken word has been called the sword of the Spirit, for it cuts through the unseen and carves a path for manifestation. It is not enough to think abundance, you must speak it. Thought sets the mold, but words set it in motion. When you declare aloud, your voice vibrates through the atmosphere, planting seeds not only in your own subconscious, but in the very fabric of the universe. To live by this law, you must become intentional with your speech. Eliminate every idle word of lack and replace it with declarations of plenty. Speak over your finances, over your work, over your opportunities. Call forth what you desire as if it already belongs to you, for in truth, it does in the unseen. The more you speak it, the faster it takes shape in the visible. Remember this, your words are always working. You cannot speak powerlessly. Every word is a decree, whether for increase or decrease. Align your speech with your highest vision, and the law of the spoken word will make it flesh. Speak life, speak wealth, speak freedom, and you will find money obeying the voice of your command. The law of faith over fear is one of the most decisive laws in shaping your financial destiny, for money responds not to anxiety, but to assurance. Fear and faith are two sides of the same coin. Both are beliefs in what is unseen. Fear believes in lack, in limitation, in loss. Faith believes in abundance, in opportunity, in divine provision. One shuts doors, the other opens them wide. One repels money, the other magnetizes it. When fear rules the mind, it whispers, "There is not enough. What if I lose everything? What if I fail?" And as these fearful thoughts take root, the very vibration of lack is set into motion, pushing supply away. Fear creates hesitation, paralyzes action, and builds invisible walls around opportunity. The fearful heart clutches, hoards, and shrinks, and money slips silently from its grasp. But when faith takes command, it speaks a different language. It says, "There is always more than enough. Divine supply never fails me. The universe is abundant, and I am safe." Faith radiates certainty, and certainty attracts. It turns obstacles into stepping stones and delays into preparation. It causes you to step boldly, to act on inspired ideas, to seize opportunities without hesitation. Where fear sees loss, faith sees increase. Where fear sees closed doors, faith sees hidden paths. Faith is not passive wishing. It is an active knowing. It is standing firm on the invisible until it becomes visible. It is declaring that your supply is secure even when your pockets feel empty. It is believing that money flows even when the stream looks dry. And the moment you stand in faith, the unseen rushes to meet you, for faith is a magnet that pulls resources, people, and opportunities into your orbit. Every choice you make is a choice between fear and faith. You either move from the scarcity of fear or from the abundance of faith. If you wait until every detail looks certain before you act, fear will chain you forever. But if you trust the divine current that never runs dry, you will find that doors open as you walk, paths appear as you step, and supply arrives as you need it. The law of faith over fear is simple. Whatever you trust in your heart will show up in your life. If you trust lack, lack will multiply. If you trust abundance, abundance will overflow. Fear is a thief, faith is a builder. Choose faith and money will choose you. The law of circulation is the heartbeat of money. Just as blood must flow through the body to keep it alive, so must money flow through your life to remain vibrant and abundant. Money is not meant to be hoarded in fear or clutched with desperation. It is meant to move, to serve, to circulate. The moment you hold it too tightly, fearing its departure, you choke the very current that would have brought it back to you multiplied. This is why you will notice that those who give with joy never seem to run out. Their supply continues to refresh itself, like a river that never dries because it is always moving. On the other hand, those who grasp and hoard, terrified of loss, often find their money slipping away, drained by unexpected expenses or stagnant circumstances. Fearful saving without trust becomes like water trapped in a pond, still, stagnant, lifeless. But when you release money with gratitude, whether through generosity, tithing, or investing in the lives of others, you keep the current alive, and it always finds its way back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. The law of circulation does not mean reckless spending or thoughtless giving. It means giving with faith, releasing with joy, and trusting the cycle of return. When money leaves your hands, it does not vanish into nothing. It travels into the world, touches lives, creates blessings, and then circles back, often from places you could never have imagined. Every act of giving sets in motion a ripple that comes back as increase. Think of how the sun gives light without ever running out. Think of how the ocean gives wave after wave without depletion. The universe itself is built on circulation, and money obeys the same rhythm. To align with this law is to recognize that you are never diminished by giving. You are multiplied. Every time you circulate money with trust, you affirm to the universe, I live in abundance, not in fear. And the universe responds by keeping your supply alive and flowing. Remember this truth: stagnant money dies, circulating money thrives. Dare to give, dare to invest, dare to release, and you will discover that the law of circulation always brings back more than you sent forth. When you bless what leaves your hand, you bless what is on its way back to you. The law of gratitude in advance is one of the most magnetic forces you can ever use to draw money into your life. Most people wait until they receive before they give thanks, but true gratitude is not reactive. It is creative. When you give thanks ahead of time, as though the supply has already been placed in your hands, you align yourself with the invisible current of abundance and open the doors for money to flow in from directions you could never have planned. Gratitude in advance is a declaration of faith. It says, I know it is already mine. I know the supply is already here, even if I cannot see it yet. It transforms your vibration instantly, lifting you from the energy of lack into the energy of overflow. A thankful heart attracts, for gratitude and abundance are companions. They always walk together. When you live in thankfulness, you are in harmony with the very essence of wealth. Think of the farmer who plants a seed. He does not wait until the harvest to rejoice. He thanks the soil, the rain, and the sun before the fruit ever appears. That thanksgiving is an expression of certainty. In the same way, when you give thanks for the money you desire before it arrives, you plant the seed of manifestation in fertile ground. You water it with words of appreciation, and soon it springs forth into form. But when you complain, when you speak words of frustration, when you fix your eyes only on what you lack, you choke the seed before it has time to grow. Complaint pushes away while gratitude draws near. To complain is to say, I do not believe supply is here. To give thanks in advance is to say, I know supply is certain. One delays, the other accelerates. The beauty of gratitude in advance is that it keeps your heart at peace while you wait. You no longer strain, beg, or chase money. You rest in certainty, knowing that your thanksgiving has already unlocked the flow. Opportunities begin to appear, channels of increase begin to open, and resources begin to move, all because you live in the energy of thankfulness. So let gratitude be your constant practice. Wake up each day and thank the universe for the money that is already on its way. Speak aloud, I am so grateful for the abundance that flows to me now. Give thanks as though the blessing is already in your possession, and soon it will be. For gratitude in advance is not wishful thinking. It is the law that turns the unseen into the seen, the invisible into the visible, and the promise into provision. The law of abundance consciousness is the crown of all the money laws, for it shifts your entire way of being. Abundance consciousness means living in the awareness that supply is unlimited, that the universe is overflowing, that you are surrounded by more than enough in every direction. Poverty consciousness sees only lack, notices only what is missing, and constantly declares not enough. But abundance consciousness looks through the eyes of truth and sees plenty everywhere. Plenty of ideas, plenty of opportunities, plenty of money, plenty of ways for blessings to arrive. When you live in lack consciousness, you shrink your world. You close doors with your doubt, you tighten your grip in fear, and you unknowingly block the very flow you desire. You say things like, there's never enough, times are hard, money is scarce, and life faithfully echoes your belief. But when you shift into abundance consciousness, your vibration changes instantly. You begin to notice doors you never saw before. You begin to attract people who open new paths. You begin to magnetize circumstances that match your inner vision of plenty. For life does not give you what you want. It gives you who you are. Abundance consciousness does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending difficulties don't exist. It means refusing to bow to them, choosing instead to see through them. Even in a desert, abundance consciousness sees the hidden wellspring. Even in a season of delay, it knows that supply is still moving, preparing, aligning. This mindset is powerful because it places you in harmony with the nature of the universe itself, which is extravagant, overflowing, and without measure. Look at creation. The sky holds countless stars, the sea holds countless drops, the earth brings forth harvests in endless cycles. There is no shortage anywhere except in human thought. Abundance is the law of life, and money flows easily to those who align their minds with it. The one who constantly affirms plenty will always find plenty. The one who gives thanks for overflow will always live in overflow. The one who sees opportunity everywhere will always walk into it. The law of abundance consciousness is not about chasing money. It is about attracting it. When you feel abundant now, when you carry yourself as though supply is endless, money seeks you out. You stop running after it and instead become the magnet it cannot resist. You do not wait for your bank balance to tell you how abundant you are. You tell your bank balance by your state of consciousness. And in time, your outer world must bow to your inner vision. Live as though the universe is on your side. See money not as something rare, but as something natural. See wealth not as something to struggle for, but as something that flows to you because you are aligned with its source. When you walk in abundance consciousness, you never fear loss because you know supply is endless. You never envy another's gain because you know there is more than enough for all. You never shrink back in doubt because you know abundance is not something you wait for. It is something you live in right now. That is the law of abundance consciousness. Become abundance within, and abundance will surround you without. Think it, feel it, live it, and money will mirror it.